My daughter has always noticed things I miss. Not in a dramatic way, not in the way of children in movies, who say profound things at exactly the right moment. In the quiet, observational way of a 6-year-old who moves through rooms without announcing herself, who watches faces, who stores information with the particular patience of someone who has not yet learned that paying too much attention is considered impolite. Her name is Lily, and on a Saturday afternoon in March, in the house I had shared with my husband for 5 years, while his mother was visiting for the weekend, Lily grabbed my hand. "Mommy," she whispered. "Don't move, look." I bent down, and I froze. Let me take you back, because to understand what Lily showed me on that Saturday afternoon, you need to understand the 4 years that preceded it. The 4 years during which I had been looking at something and seeing the wrong thing entirely. My name is Emma. I had been married to Daniel for 5 years. We had Lily, our 6-year-old, our quiet observer, the person who would turn out to see everything I had missed. We had a home that I had made into something I was proud of, a life that looked, from every angle I was capable of seeing, solid and real and entirely ours. My mother-in-law's name is Patricia. She had been in my life since Daniel and I started dating 7 years ago. She was, I want to be precise, because precision matters here, not the obvious kind of difficult. She was not cruel. She did not make cutting remarks or deliver disapproval in ways that could be clearly identified and addressed. She was the other kind, the kind that operates in the spaces between things, in the slightly too long pauses before she agreed with something I said, in the suggestions that arrived framed as helpfulness and carried a different meaning underneath, in the way she spoke to Daniel when she believed I was not in the room, a different tone, a different register, the particular voice of someone who behaves one way in front of an audience and another way without one. I had noticed. I had told myself I was imagining it. 4 years of telling myself I was imagining it, until Lily bent down and whispered, until I bent down beside her and looked at what her 6-year-old eyes had seen in a room I had walked through 100 times. A phone, partially visible behind the leg of the sofa, face up, screen still lit. I would not have looked twice. Lily had looked exactly right. "Grandma dropped it," Lily whispered. But she didn't pick it up. She just walked away, and she was looking at you funny when she did it. I looked at my daughter, at the particular seriousness on her 6-year-old face, and I picked up the phone. The screen had not locked yet. I had perhaps 30 seconds. The particular window of a phone that has been recently used and has not yet gone dark, and I used every one of them. What I saw in those 30 seconds was not everything, but it was enough. A conversation, one side of it, Patricia's side. The messages she had sent, visible in the way that messages are visible when you are holding the phone of the person who sent them. The other side, the responses, cut off by the lock screen that descended before I could read further. What I saw was enough. The conversation was with a number saved only as initials, the kind of contact name that is designed to look like nothing, to pass unnoticed in a quick scroll. The messages were about me, not dramatically, not with the obvious language of someone who has declared themselves an enemy, in the quieter, more dangerous language of someone who has been conducting a campaign so gradually that each individual message, read alone, would seem almost reasonable. Comments about my parenting, framed as concern. Observations about our marriage, framed as worry. Suggestions that Daniel deserved something I was apparently not providing, framed as a mother's love for her son. And at the bottom of what I could see before the screen went dark, a single message that had been sent that morning, while I was making breakfast, while Patricia was sitting at my kitchen table drinking the coffee I had made her. She still has no idea. Keep it that way. I put the phone back exactly where Lily had found it. I stood up. I went back to the kitchen. I made lunch. I sat across from Patricia while we ate and I watched her. Really watched her. For the first time, without the filter of someone who has been telling herself she is imagining things. And I saw it clearly, the performance of it, the particular ease of someone who has been doing something long enough, that it no longer requires effort, the warmth that was real in some places and constructed in others, and the skill with which the constructed warmth was maintained. She was good at it. She had been good at it for 4 years, and I had been exactly the audience she needed. Someone who wanted to believe in the warmth, who was invested in the relationship working, who had attributed every uncomfortable moment to her own oversensitivity. Lily sat beside me at lunch. She ate her sandwich. She watched Patricia with the quiet, serious attention of a 6-year-old who has noticed something and is still deciding what it means. That evening, after Patricia had gone to bed, after Daniel was watching television in the other room, I sat at the kitchen table and I thought, not about what I had read. I had processed that in the hours since lunch with the particular disciplined calm of someone who has understood that reacting immediately is almost never the right choice. I thought about what I was going to do. And I thought about Lily, about the particular gift of a child who moves through rooms without announcing herself, who watches faces, who had grabbed my hand on a Saturday afternoon and said, "Don't move, look," who had seen what I had missed for 4 years. I called my sister that night, from the bathroom with the tap running, in the particular privacy of someone who was not ready for the conversation to be overheard. I told her what I had found. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "How long have you known something was wrong?" 4 years, I said, "and you kept telling yourself you were imagining it," she said. "Yes," I said. "You weren't," she said. "I know that now," I said. "What do you need?" she said. And I told her. I gave myself 1 week, 7 days, not to gather evidence dramatically, not to construct a case with the methodical precision of someone in a legal thriller, simply to pay attention, with the filters removed, with the particular clarity of someone who has stopped telling herself she is imagining things. What I observed in that week, in phone calls I was not meant to overhear, in conversations that shifted when I entered rooms, in the small behavioral signals that I had been explaining away for 4 years, confirmed everything the 30 seconds of screen time had shown me. Patricia had been conducting a quiet, patient, years-long campaign to position herself between my husband and me, not dramatically, not with accusations or confrontations, with the particular method of someone who understands that the most durable damage is done slowly, a seed planted here, a concern raised there, a version of our marriage and of me, constructed piece by piece in her son's perception over years, so gradually that Daniel had never been able to identify the moment it began. On Saturday, exactly 1 week after, Lily bent down and whispered. I asked Daniel to sit with me, not with anger, not from the raw, unprocessed place of someone who has just discovered something, from the particular steadiness of someone who has had 7 days and a sister and a 6-year-old's clarity to work with. I told him what I had found. I told him what I had observed in the week since. I told him, clearly, without drama, what the pattern looked like when you removed the frame, that made each piece seem reasonable individually. Daniel listened, without interrupting, which is one of the things I have always loved about him, the ability to actually listen. His face moved through something I recognized as the particular progression of someone receiving information they did not have, and are integrating it against everything they thought they knew. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. "The initials," he said, on the phone. "Do you know whose number that was?" "I have a suspicion," I said. but I think you might know better than I do." He looked at his hands. He knew. I will not detail the conversation that followed between Daniel and his mother. It was not mine to be in, and I believe, looking back, that was the right instinct. Some things need to happen between a son and his mother without an audience. Some truths land differently when there is no one else in the room. What I know is that it happened. That it was, by Daniel's account afterward, the most honest conversation they had ever had. That things were said, on both sides, that had needed saying for a long time. Patricia did not come to our home for 4 months after that weekend. When she did, tentatively, carefully, with a quality in her manner that I had not seen before, she was different. Not transformed. Not the sudden conversion of someone who has seen the light and reversed decades of behavior overnight, but different in the small, real ways that tell you something has shifted. She looked at Lily differently. I noticed that most of all. The particular way she looked at my daughter, with something that was part wariness and part, I think, genuine respect. For a 6-year-old who moves through rooms without announcing herself, who watches faces, who had bent down on a Saturday afternoon and changed the direction of something that had been moving in the wrong direction for 4 years. Lily, for her part, watched her grandmother with the same quiet seriousness she always had. And one afternoon, approximately 3 months after everything, Lily climbed into my lap and said, "Grandma seems different now." "A little," I said. "Did you fix it?" she said. I thought about that. "We all did," I said. "Together." She considered this. "Because I showed you the phone," she said. "Yes," I said. "Because you showed me the phone." She nodded, with the particular satisfaction of a 6-year-old who has understood that she did something that mattered. She had. Here is what a dropped phone and a whispered warning in a 6-year-old's quiet eyes taught me. The people who love you most are not always the ones who say it loudest. Sometimes they are the ones who notice quietly, who grab your hand, who say, "Don't move, look." And sometimes the most important thing you can do is bend down and look. My daughter saw what I missed. My mother-in-law never recovered, not from what was found, from what was finally, after 4 years of being explained away, seen.